Angelina's Cinderella by Catherine Hollibird and read to you today by Gammy. Miss Lily's ballet school was going on a dancing tour, and Angelina was to dance as Cinderella. "It's my dream come true," Angelina told Alice as they hopped into the little blue bus. She waved goodbye to her parents. "Good luck, Angelina," they called back. The little blue bus bumped along over hills and dales, followed by Mr. Nibbles and his tractor pulling all the scenery for the show. The Cinderella dance tour was traveling all over Mouseland with a final grand performance at the famous Von Whisker's castle. No wonder all the little dancers were so excited. They'd been rehearsing dance steps and painting scenery for months, and now their great adventure was about to begin. The Mouselings' first performance was in Great Gouda. When they arrived, there was no time to rest. Mr. Nibbles needed help to unload the scenery and set up the show. And then Miss Lily said, "Don't forget our dress rehearsal. Remember, dancers must practice every day." By the time the rehearsal was over, Angelina's toes were sore and her pink ribbons were drooping. "I'm so tired my tail forgot to twirl," she said, and fell fast asleep with her tutu on. But the next day, Angelina was all ready for her first show and happily danced on stage as Cinderella. She twirled about like a real ballerina, even when Henry forgot to do his leap and Alice tripped over her ribbons. At the end of the show, the Mouselings took a bow and raced off stage, while the audience cheered. "Dancing is the best fun ever," said Angelina. Then it was time to pack up and climb onto the little blue bus again. "I absolutely love touring," said Angelina dreamily, and Harry shook his head. "Touring gives me a tummy ache," he said. "Don't worry, my darling," said Mrs. Lily kindly. "You'll soon get used to it. All dancers do." When the Cinderella dance tour arrived at the old Stilton Theater, Alice couldn't find her fairy wand, and Henry was so homesick that he didn't want to dance. "I don't like this adventure anymore," he said. Angelina comforted him. "Don't give up, Henry. You're the best Mouseling coachman ever." But later that night in her lumpy bed, Angelina couldn't stop thinking about her mother's lovely cheddar cheese pies in the warm kitchen at home. "Oh dear, I think I might be a little homesick too," she thought. Every day there was more traveling in that little blue bus and another show. "I'm so very proud of my wonderful dancers," said Miss Lily. "Everyone in Mouseland has heard about our fabulous Cinderella tour." "It's so much fun dancing every day," Angelina told Henry. "And I can't wait for our last performance at the castle." "And I can't wait to go home," said Henry. At last, after bumpity-bumping all over Mouseland, the little blue bus turned toward the Grand Von Whisker's castle. Suddenly, there was a loud thunderclap that made the Mouselings jump, and the skies began to pour with rain. As the little blue bus raced toward the castle, Mr. Nibbles' trailer got stuck in a deep, muddy hole. "Oh no!" cried the Mouselings, and they all watched as their beautiful scenery toppled and fell into the mud. "What will we do?" wailed Angelina to Miss Lily. "Now we don't have any scenery for our final show." "Oh dear, what a mess," sighed Miss Lily. "But I'm sure my clever Mouselings will find a way." Remember, whatever happens, the show must go on. When Miss Lily and the wet little Mouselings finally arrived at the castle, Countess Von Whiskers invited them in for hot chocolate so they could warm up. Angelina tearfully told the Countess about the lost scenery. "We have to save the show," she said, "but what can we do?" "Well, you might find something useful in the castle gardens," suggested the Countess. "Stupendous," Angelina agreed. "Cinderella's fairy godmother made a magical coach from a pumpkin, and we'll make something magical from your garden." The next day, the sun was shining again. "Come on, everyone, we're going to make new scenery," Angelina announced at breakfast. All the Mouselings happily followed Angelina and the Countess to the gardens. "We can use flowers and plants," said Angelina. "Yippee!" shouted the Mouselings. They all worked together busily, making props and sets for the show. Henry was very pleased with himself because he came up with a great idea for the coachman's carriage, while Alice made a flowery fairy wand. That evening, Angelina danced as Cinderella under the stars in the castle gardens. Everyone agreed it was a beautiful grand finale to the Mouseling Cinderella dance tour. Alice twirled perfectly with her new fairy wand, and Henry was so very proud of his splendid carriage. "What a triumph!" cried the Countess, and she made Angelina and all the other Mouselings promise to come back next year. At last, the Cinderella tour was over, and everyone felt a little sad. It had been lots of fun, but they were glad to be going home. "I like being on tour," said Henry sleepily. "Can we do another one soon?" But Angelina was already fast asleep on the little blue bus, bumping and bumping all the way home. The end. We have so much more to learn. Be blessed.